So, there's a Defense of Marriage Act, which was it passed out here?
No, where was that passed?
I know it was like somewhere in Europe, and it was like
I don't know.
it was
I know it's in a whole bunch of different places. It essentially defines marriage as a union between a man and a woman. So same-sex marriages aren't really recognized, and it also allows for the non-recognition among different states. It's usually like if you get married in one state, it's still recognized in another state, but it doesn't apply with same-sex marriages.
all right. And then comes Proposition 8.
God.
Woo!
Gay marriage used to be legal in the state of California, but during the 2008 election in the state, they passed, what's the technical term for what Proposition 8 is?
A referendum?
Yeah. Anyway, it says that it's no longer legal for same-sex couples to get married in the state of California, but the couples that were married remain married. More people can't get married, which is stupid. But this past year, August 4th, I think, yes, one of the circuit judges in California declared it unconstitutional because it was...
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, sorry.
Was it the Republicans or the Democrats that passed that more people couldn't get married?
Oh. Well, it's kind of complicated because whether you're Republican or Democrat, if you're in politics, you really can't come out and say that you support gay marriage because of the...
It's political suicide.
Yeah, it is. Really.
That makes sense.
It's what it is. You really can't come out and say that. So, yeah, you guys can feel free to jump in.
It wasn't passed through a vote in Congress. It was passed by voters who were going to the polls, like everyday people who were going to the polls for the presidential election also had to vote on whether or not to pass Proposition 8. It wasn't necessarily passed by, like, representatives in Congress.
Yeah.
What's the law in Britain about gay marriage? Do you guys allow it or not?
At the moment, yes, it is.
It's civil
partnership. It's called a civil partnership, which technically is marriage, but
it's not called marriage.
It's not because it's not before God.
Yeah.
Is it? It's not allowed in like churches. It's a civil partnership.
But they're trying to get it in church.
It's not through a church. It's through like a registry office, which is so it's through law rather than.
Yeah.
Spiritually.
Yeah.
But you have all the legal rights of a marriage in Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I think you do. I know a couple of people that have had civil partnerships, and they known as Mr. and Mr. and like they have like next to kin rights and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. The only difference is it isn't like considered as spiritual by some Christians.
Yeah. Yeah. See, in America, where you have the problem with, like, the main reason that this argument exists is because civil unions, correct me if I'm wrong, Zoe and Halo, but civil unions don't provide all the legal rights of a marriage, and so they don't get next of kin rights. They don't get
tax.
It's not the tax. You don't get the same tax benefits. You don't have next of kin rights.
Hospital visitation.
Yeah, you don't have hospital visitation. Yeah. So there's multiple reasons why this is a big argument, but the one that we tend to use most is the tax benefits. Because if you give it an economic spin, it's generally easier to get people to look at it instead of giving it like
moral spin or moral or emotional.
Can't think of the word.
I think in England there is still a big debate about whether it should really be allowed, whether it shouldn't, and I think just now it's accepted that people can be gay, but obviously as England's primary sort of religion is Christianity, it's kind of seen as not being good, obviously. But then again, there are a lot of gay priests.
How do you guys feel about gay marriage? What are your opinions on the subject?
I don't care, to be honest. Marriage.
Yeah, I think they should be allowed. I have a couple of gay, like I said, I've got quite a few gay friends, which makes me sound a bit weird. But yeah, I've got quite a few gay friends, and I think they've got every right to be married as much as I have to marry whoever I want.
I'm obviously slightly the other way because I am a Christian, but I don't know. It is a tough one. Obviously, my religious view says that it shouldn't be allowed, and to be honest, I don't really know because to me it's not really marriage. It's a civil partnership which isn't really marriage. So, yeah.
I think though in this country now there's more of a move towards...
Wait, Greg.
Oh, sorry.
We have to catch up. Wait, we're not as quick as you with the technical stuff.
Doesn't move around very quickly.
Just show them the
Just hold
remote.
it. It does.
There he is.
Tapping it.
I think there's a general move in this country though at the moment to not even get married at all, isn't there? So even if you are heterosexual as well as homosexual, there's more of a move to be in a relationship where you just keep your accounts separate, you kind of live together, you maybe even have children together. But then you don't really have the same rights as marriage, but most people kind of go for that now.
Yeah. Less and less people are getting married in Britain.
Yeah, I think there's a general apathy towards marriage generally. So I think that's why generally people don't really mind so much about the civil partnerships or marriage, because they don't really care about getting married at all in the first place.
It's not that big a deal really here, is it?
Yeah.
If someone's married, then they're married, but if they're not, like, no one's going to look down on a partnership because they're not married or anything like that. There's a lot of other religions who are starting to complain about how the country's run. Like, they're even going as far as to some people aren't liking the way that we celebrate Christmas and they want to stop us from doing that.
Yeah.
Like putting up fairy lights outside the house or a Santa or something like that. They're trying to stop that from happening.
Then none of that's religious anyway.
Yeah.
That isn't religious. And they're not liking the crucifix and stuff like that. I hang up on my door and stuff like that.
Can you guys say Happy Christmas or whatever it is that you say? We say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Can you do you say that because here it's been like?
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Is that I think it was like when we were in 4th grade.
Yeah.
One parent, I think she was Jewish. It's like that doesn't matter, obviously. But it got changed. It got changed to like Christmas holiday and Christmas school party to winter break and winter party. Like you can't even mention a holiday in school.
I don't think you can even say holiday.
You can't even say really holiday. It's just like winter break.
Oh.
I think holiday, but then that gets on like the atheist people like
Holiday originally.
I think if they tried to do something like that, everyone would pick up a fuss.
I think over here you're not really. There's some supposed to like be like, oh yeah, Christmas this, Christmas that in school because we do have some other religions here, but I don't think it's like you can't say it, but like teachers don't like near Christmas and stuff. Whereas we used to like at the end of the year have like games and stuff and watch films in lesson as like just because it's nearly Christmas. Now we're not allowed to do it,
which is annoying
because it could be seen as offensive to other religions.
All right, well, our current event is over the news media being biased. And
basically we have the conservatives and liberals, and that distinction is being seen through the news. Like, we have different news channels that seem to adhere to one side or the other very strongly.
We have Fox News, which is generally the more conservative side, and then we have news channels like MSNBC and CNN for seeing more liberal, but kind of moderate, but they're called liberal.
We have newspapers like that, don't we?
Yeah, we have newspapers over here, and they tend to have a political leaning, political ties to certain parties. But generally, the only one that really doesn't is probably The Independent, which, as its title suggests, it's independent.
Is it Rupert Murdoch?
That owns Fox.
Yeah, he does. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, he also owns many of our papers. Like, for instance, he owns Sky and the Times and the Daily Mirror, and many of our papers are run by the same person.
Wrong way.
And so, hello. And so, yeah, he actually owns a lot of our news output, and so he used to be very pro Margaret Thatcher and the Conservatives in the 90s and the 80s, and then as soon as Tony Blair came, he changed his allegiance, and suddenly all those papers and news channels are supporting the Labour Party, and so it's very much clear to see that his agenda is being played out every time.
You guys mentioned BBC. Does it have any leanings? Because I'm sorry.
It has to.
It's pretty neutral, but is there still, because we have a public broadcasting PBS, which is supposed to be neutral.
The comedy that's on it can be quite. The comedy that's on it can be quite leaning either way, but then again, they just say it doesn't represent the BBC or any of its views.
Yeah.
So they can get away
And
with
to
it
be
that
honest,
way.
if they're going to insult anybody, they just insult everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, any politician from any party, if they do something stupid, they're
gonna
really
get
make them look
insulted.
stupid.
Yeah.
And so they don't really have any specific leaning like that. They just do it to everybody.
So is there another option? Like, let's say you live in England and you're really conservative and you really like having your news catered to your views. Can you watch a different show? Do you have the equivalent of a Fox News?
We have Sky, and they have like all different news channels. Like you've got Sky News and
Sky News 2.
It's
Sky News 2
cable,
and
basically.
Sky
There's
News 3.
hundreds of channels.
Yeah.
On our Sky, which is like the equivalent of your like cable. You can get pretty much whatever you want. Like there's BBC. There's not BBC. There's like on Sky. There's like a Muslim channel and
we even get
Jewish
Fox.
channel and shopping channels and
It's like
all
satellite.
sorts of news channels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sky is owned by Rupert Murdoch as well, so
It's very anti-Labour. for
it's
instance,
very
last night.
anti-Labour.
Bye.
Bye.